Let's get down to brass tacks. Welcome to the channel, ladies and gentlemen. We're here ready to rock and roll as we get to the end, almost the absolute end of the great Elm Street debates. Tonight, we're going to be talking about the Wes Craven 84 classic, the original A Nightmare on Elm Street. But I can't do this alone. As you guys know, this is a family. And it's been such a pleasure to have so many great people joining the panels. And tonight we've got the historian, the wig master herself, Julie. What's up? How you doing?
Hello. I'm thrilled to be here. I just did my rewatch last night. I got some stuff to say. And I retract my statement last night about Freddy on the bottom tier. That was rough.
Oh man, when you said that, I was like, because usually I'm getting so used to how your sense of humor, which is great, like, and obviously reading something, and I was like, man, Julie might be serious. What
No, it was a joke, but I get weird sometimes at night. I had a little bit too much sugar, get a little silly, but
Awesome. I love it. All right. Well, hey, you guys in the chat, thank you for being here. We appreciate you as always. Just to say a quick hello to everyone, a blanket hello. We've got Russell in the house. Russell is with us. What's up, brother? Good to have you here. Hope you're doing well. We have Sean coming in with a super sticker. Thank you so much, Sean. We appreciate that. Seriously. All right. Saying would be a 5-star movie, but the ending and the blow-up doll still a classic of the genre. All right. Okay. My good buddy Eric would have a lot to say about that too. He agrees with that. Absolutely. RJ saying more Freddy's debates. Can't wait. Absolutely, man. Absolutely. Thank you for being here. David's in the house. What's up, David? Good to have you. And hey, we got Brandon here. Good to see you again, man. Hope you've been doing well. Awesome to have you. All right. Pierre in the house. We got Willis. Last night?
All
Willis
right.
shocked the world as he brought Megan out of mediocrity. Oh my God, it was so much fun last night. If you guys did not see part 1 of our villains tier list, you got to check it out.
And what was his super hot take? He said Megan was above Ghostface or something.
Yes.
I was
It
like,
was
okay,
crazy.
okay.
It's like, what is going on? Oh my God.
That was so fun.
It was so much fun. And speaking of having so much fun last night, a big part of that was our good friend Rachel, who's in the chat. Thank you for being here, Rachel. And she did a tremendous job last night, had me in stitches. So did you, Julie. I was telling you that on Instagram. You guys are cracking me up, man. It was so much fun. We had a lot of great laughs. And shout out to our good friend Gina from across the pond. She actually had put a comment on last night's show and said it was helping her. It helped her through a really difficult time. So much love to Gina, always there for us. And it just goes to show, kind of like what I said last night, sometimes these type of get-togethers and streams can do so much more than we'd ever know. So we appreciate that, and we hope that it brings a smile to everyone's face.
Absolutely.
Right. Yeah. Chuck, what's up? Good to have you here, man. Hope you're doing well. We got Ben in the house. What's up, Ben? good to have you here as well. Saying hope all of you are well. Yeah, man, can't wait to do this. This is the 84 classic. I'm wondering what these scores will turn out to be. Paula, what's up? Good to have you. And look at that. Speaking of Rachel, she has a channel member anniversary,
Mm.
14 months strong, saying she's messing with me. We love Hobo Myers. You gotta stop. You gotta stop. Much love to you though, Rachel.
He did get some pretty high scores in the Halloween debate.
I
I'm just saying.
yes. Yes, yes. And like I was telling you, and for you guys that are new to this, and by the way, hey to Scott, we are going to be basically giving our scores to Nightmare on Elm Street from 84, category by category. Okay. And that's how we're going to determine its overall score. And each film in this series has an overall score, and that's how we're going to rank the franchise. And I'm going to tell you guys right now, first of all, if you've been watching all of the Elm Street debates, you kind of have a pretty good idea what I'm talking about. But there are 5 films in this franchise, 3 of which had really high scores that was a little bit of a surprise. So I think the ultimate ranking is going to be crazy surprising. I really, really do. All right. Ben, what's up? Blazing in the chat. What's up? Good to have you guys here with us again. Awesome stuff. And look, look at Rachel. Thank you so much, Rachel. Starting off
Woo!
gifting some memberships. Thank you so much for you guys. If you were gifted a membership, number one, show some love to Rachel. It's very kind and generous to do something like that. But also, if you would like to stay as part of this community and a lot of the extra stuff we do, whether it's live streams, exclusive streams, make sure you go into your settings because you have to hit renew membership. Okay. Let's get ready to get into this. Antonis in the house. What's going on? Good to see
What's
you.
up?
Hope you're doing well. Okay, so we have multiple categories for this debate of sorts, and we're going to break them down. Let me just bring those up. We're going to go category by category. Julie will give her score, I will give mine. And what we're also going to do tonight, we wanted to incorporate our channel members. So what we're going to do is in the categories, we'll randomly choose channel members to give their score to. Okay, but let's talk about the categories first in case people have forgotten what they are. We've been using these categories throughout all of the debates. Okay, we have as a talking point, we have worst scene and best scene. Those 2 categories will not be scored, but they will be talking points for us. But the other possible 10 categories are directing, cinematography, Freddy Krueger himself, the kills, the story of the film, the characters in the film, the mythology, the atmosphere, the dreamscape, the final girl, Freddy's makeup, and the it factor. Okay, so those are our possible categories. We're going to randomly pick them by the wheel. And again, as we've seen in so many of these debates, the wheel is like, I don't know, Julie, what are your thoughts? To me, the wheel is kind of like the ultimate referee of sorts to kind of keep this fair all the way through.
The wheels kind of yeah, I agree with you. It can also kind of be this is mean, but like have you ever played Mario Party? You can do like the little
Y-
settings where you can give a team a handicap of like +5 stars to start off with because they,
Yes.
they need a little help or something.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's kind of done that for a few movies, like
Yeah.
I won't say which ones, but ones that you
Yeah.
you wouldn't think would rank so high, and the
Mm-hmm.
wheel is on nobody's side. Okay, you
Nobody's
never
side.
know where it's gonna
Yeah.
go.
Agreed, agreed. And I love that because again, even for us, like we were talking about backstage, trying to give these scores and being fair, without just our bias of what we like or what we don't like. It's challenging, man, but this wheel helps us out. So we can score this 1 to 5. Okay, 5 being masterful, 1 being horrible. Okay. We can also have 0.5s. So you could do a 1.5, 2.5, 3.5, or 4.5. Okay. So let's bring up the wheel and let's see what we've got cooking for the Nightmare on Elm Street 1984 debate. Okay. Here's the wheel. We will score 10 categories out of these possible, I think it's a possible of 14. So, Julie, we're going to start with you, and you're
Okay.
going to lead us off with this first talking point category, and then we'll see what we get. All right, here we go. This is get me nervous a little bit. Oh,
Yeah.
oh, 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 okay. Wow. That could have started off on an interesting foot there. Okay, so we're
Mm.
talking about story. Okay, so Julie, when you think of story of this film, A to Z, what do you think of it, and what's the score, 1 to 5, that you want to give it?
All right. It's pretty darn near perfect, and I think I would do a 4.5. I love the way the mystery kind of unfolds. Who is this dude? This
Mm,
crazy ass dude in our dreams. Um, Great mystery element to it, and I love the way the story's told. And I'm rambling, but
it's okay.
it's got to be up there. It's got to be up there because obviously the rest of the sequels really don't have the hook that this one does.
Mm.
And the remake, they tried to give you a little second hook there. Sorry, we're not talking about that, but I
That's
think
all
I
right.
think I think the story here is pretty darn near perfect. I'm gonna do a 4.5. Yeah,
Okay. All
love
right,
it.
we got a 4.5. For me, this movie, it's operating on so many levels, and that obviously has to be a credit to the late great Wes Craven. There is so much that he's showing you, and there's also a lot that he's not showing you that you're getting, that you're absorbing as you watch the movie. I've seen this movie more times than I could count since I was a little kid. And I rewatched it again because I always do that for these debates or any stream. I want to make sure I'm really up to date. This movie still amazes me. The choices that Wes
Hmm.
made, and it's little things about the story that make it so great, even with a smaller budget than so many of the other films, maybe all of the other films, if I'm not mistaken. For me, this has to be a 5. It has to be a 5.
Ooh,
It is, and I haven't given many 5s out of any of these debates in the Halloween series or the Elm Street series, but this movie just hits it all. It really, really does. Okay. In the chat, I also want to mention, guys, let us know what you think as well. We won't be able to get to everyone's comment, but if you do send in a super chat, number one, we'll make sure we get to your comment or question. It also helps to support the channel. We'd appreciate that. So it allows us to continue to do streams like this where we put in a lot of, time and effort. But also, if you are a channel member, we are going to take a random pick and add that score to tonight. Okay. So this is what I'm going to do. I'll pick this one, Julie, and then maybe we'll kind of go back and forth. But I'm just
okay.
going to scroll through the chat on my phone, and then I'm going to pick someone to give us a score of what they think is the story. Okay. So I'm
All
scrolling,
right.
scrolling, and stop. Okay. It's Rachel.
Yeah, we already know what she's giving it.
Ra- Rachel is the one. Rachel is the one. All right. So look, she says the story is fantastic. Not only Freddie's backstory with the parents, but also Nancy's journey becoming an awesome final girl. She's giving it a 5.
That's beautiful,
Wow.
Rachel. That's what I was trying to say, but I just started blabbing. I
Hey,
couldn't
no,
get it out.
you did fine. You did fine. And by the way, again, if you would like to become a channel member, all you have to do is hit the join button next to the subscribe button. It helps us out a lot, and we really appreciate the support. Okay, so we also have Ben coming in, saying Nightmare on Elm Street innovated the slasher genre, joining Alien and the Terminator in the ranks of top high concept slasher films. The story is ingenious. It is.
Mhm.
It really is. Let's see. Scott saying can't decide between 4.5 and 5. Good problem to
Yeah.
have. It is. It really, really is. Let's see. Antonis going with a 5.
Okay.
Okay, we got a couple of fives in here. Chuck going with a 5. Let's see. Pierre saying one of the best horror stories. It's a 5 for me. All
Mm,
right.
mhm.
Russell going with a 5. Okay. So we have quite a few people that, that are going with a 5. There you go. Okay. So let's go to our next category. I'll start this one off. Let's spin the wheel and see what we get. Oh, ooh, okay, okay. All right. Characters.
Mm.
Characters. Okay. Now this is an interesting one, okay? So follow me on this. Um I really enjoyed following Nancy's story, and obviously Tina, the red herring of this film. Watching it again last night and really because you break it down when you talk about these things as a content creator, but I didn't even realize that it was less than 15 minutes into the film before Tina confronts Freddy.
It was
I
quick, wasn't
It was
it?
quick. It
I
was
was like,
so
"There's
quick.
no way."
Yeah,
It Yeah,
yeah.
way sooner than I remembered.
Yeah, if I was to have been asked before watching it again and really, I was looking at everything. I was looking at the timer and everything. If someone had asked me that, I would have said at least 25 half hour before, she had the confrontation with Freddie.
Yeah.
But it was like 13 minutes. So anyways, I say that to say she wasn't in the film a lot, but I enjoyed what Amanda Weiss did with the character. Rod was okay. And obviously Johnny Depp, he had some good scenes. You have the great John Saxon,
Mhm.
Ronnie Blakely, a lot of great stuff going on. It's fun. That being said, and guys,
Mm-mm.
don't kill me in the chat, but I'm just being honest. I don't think that this is overall, okay? Because I'm not just talking about one character. I think we know who she is. I'm talking about overall these characters. I don't think it's the strongest in the franchise. It's very strong, but it's not the strongest in my opinion. So I'm going to go with a 4. I'm going with a 4. Julie, what do you think overall about the characters, and what would be the score you'd give it?
Yeah, I can kinda get behind a 4. Love Nancy. Glenn's
Mhm.
okay, he has a couple, like, cute, silly moments, but I
Yeah.
find it kind of and I know it's meant to be as such, but Nancy is really on her own, like, oh my gosh.
Yeah.
The amount of time
Yeah.
she says, "There's this crazy ass man in my dreams. Please help me." And people are like, "Maybe just take a nap."
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, but that's the point. And I know she's supposed to be isolated, but
Right.
it's just like, "Oh my gosh." And there's that one scene near the end when she's literally fighting Freddy in her bedroom and the policeman's standing right outside the window and he's like, "Oh,
Yeah.
huh." Looking around. Let me mind my own business. Like,
Right.
but that adds to the humor of it. But anyway, sorry. I really liked Tina. Yeah, she died so quickly though.
Yeah.
There's a
Yep.
couple cool moments like when early on when they're doing the sleepover and Glenn's on the phone with his mom. He's trying to trick her
Yeah.
about where he's at and they're fiddling with the radio or whatever. That was a cute scene between the three of
Mhm.
them. I
Yep.
didn't like Rod, but that's probably kind of by design, right? Um,
Yeah. Yeah,
kind of just
definitely. He was
sucks,
the
but
punk.
I think I I don't I'm they are my favorite set of characters in the series, so I might
Ooh,
do a
okay.
4.5 actually. Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Very, very cool. All right, let's check out the chat and see what we got going on in the chat. Rachel saying Nancy is great, Tina is fun, Glenn is the worst boyfriend. Dude, you had one job and you couldn't do that.
He even
Nancy's
says
dead.
that to him.
That was that
I want you to
was
do
great.
this whole thing.
Whatever you do, don't fall asleep, bro. Nancy's dead is awesome, so I'll go 3.5 out of 5.
Okay, wow.
Okay.
Hmm.
Interesting. Very, very interesting. Let's see. Let's see. Pierre saying I love the characters. Even the parents were fun, but I'd give it a 4. Okay. Brandon going with a 4.5. And we've got iconic. Oh, I like that how it's spelled. That's cool. That's really cool. Welcome to the chat. We appreciate you being here. Hope you enjoyed the conversation. Going with a 4. Okay. All right. Russell saying he's going with a 4. All right.
Okay. Mhm.
Let's see. Dr. Steph in the chat. Welcome, welcome, welcome to all you guys, especially you guys that are new to the channel. We appreciate your support. If you haven't hit the like button already, please do. It helps to support the stream and the channel. David going with a 4. Scott going with a 4.
Okay.
Okay. All right. So how about this, Julie? If you do you have your phone handy?
Yeah, I do. Yep, I was just pulling it up. I can
Okay.
scroll.
Yeah, if you can just kind of blind scroll, and if you don't land on a channel member, then that's okay. We'll just skip it. But if you do
Okay.
land on
Or
a
do you want
channel
me to go
member,
to the closest channel member I scroll to? Or whatever.
um, no, I think if you don't land on one, you don't land on one. We hope that
Okay.
everyone will become a channel member
All
here
right.
tonight.
All
That
right.
would be
All right. Here
awesome.
I go. Super tenor. Did super tenor give a
All right, Super Tenor, what is the score you want to give for the characters? Now I'm just going to scroll through here. I don't think I saw
looking?
him with a score.
Sorry, man. I put you on the spot here, and you weren't even putting in a score yet.
Hey, well, that's what this is all
Oh,
about. It's an opportunity,
there he goes. 4. Okay. Cool.
He's going with a 4. Okay, all right. Very, very cool. So we will put down a 4. Thank you so much, man. We appreciate that. All right, let's spin the wheel and see what we get for our next category. Ooh, 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 ooh. Okay, the mythology. Okay, so Julie, we'll have you start off with this. When we talk about mythology, basically it's the whole idea of what Freddy is, as far as his backstory or how he's presented. Of course, this being the first film, this was the originator, but kind of taking that out of the equation, just based on what we saw in this film, how he's presented and so forth, the way he starts his whole mythology. What do you think of it, and what's the score you want to give it?
Love it. First of all, it's
Hmm.
terrifying. I think they do a good job setting up the rules, like mid-film. She takes his
Hmm.
hat out. Oh, okay, and we learn with her. Oh shoot, I can pull stuff out of my dream. That's wild. And then she uses
Hmm.
that later on in a really cool
Yeah.
scene. Um, but he's very mysterious. I love that.
Hmm.
The parents are sketchy. Like her mom, oh my god, her mom she has to like shake the lore out of her mother. Like, who
Yeah.
is this man? And it
Right.
it takes until she has his literal hat with his literal name in it, and she's like, "All right, put the bottle down, mom. We need to talk."
Right.
um, but I love how we find out with Nancy. I yeah, it's hard to separate what you said. Like, well, this is the first time we're seeing him.
Hmm.
Um, Probably a 4.5. It's
Okay.
yeah, I think it's executed really well. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, very, very cool. For me, I think that, again, taking out of account what we've seen after this, we're just starting with this. The way that Freddy is presented, I think, is so awesome. The rules that are set up are very awesome. The only thing, and it was kind of mentioned earlier in the chat, somewhat, it was kind of mentioned, is at the end, the whole idea of the way that Nancy defeats Freddy. Now, it's poetic, and I know what Wes was going for. And of course, this whole idea of the stinger at the end with Marge, it did not look good, but we're not talking about how things look. We're just talking about the mythology, how Freddy works in this film. I would say that it's got mostly high marks for me, except for at the end. The only thing about the ending is just the whole idea of, just kind of turning your back. I think that they could have found, even though it's poetic, I think they could have found a better way to do it. Of
You're
course,
so right. Yeah.
hindsight is always 2020, right? I'm not
Mhm.
sitting here saying I could do a better job than Wes Craven. Not many people ever could do a better job than he did. But I'm just saying, when you look at the whole totality of the film and just how terrifying Freddy is and how unstoppable his power set is, you know what I'm saying? And then at the end to just kind of, turn around and be like, yeah, I'm taking my power away. So I just think that's the only knock I would give it. So I'm going to go with a 4. I'm going
Yeah,
to go
that's
with a
fair.
4.
Hmm.
Yeah, I mean, and by no way is 4 a bad score. I mean, 5 is pretty much perfect or masterclass. But I think at the end, that's the only, even when I was a kid, I remember watching this as a kid. I was only like 8 years old. Um, maybe 9, something like that. But the point being is, and I remember at the end, I was like, hmm, okay. You know what I mean? Like, it just felt like it was building up so much all the way up to the confrontation that she had with him and how she had to be so savvy. And then for it to just end with her turning her back, I was like, oh, all right. Yeah.
That is very true. I was always disappointed by the ending, and especially like I wanted somebody to see him. Like,
Yeah.
bring him to your dad. Oh,
Yeah.
that made me
Yes.
so mad.
Yes. 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 Oh my gosh.
uh,
Okay. Let's jump to the chat. We got Quentin in the house too. What's up? We got Russell in the house. What's up, Russell? Good to see you. Okay, so I'm going to scroll through. Pierre is going with a 5. Okay, we got some high scores.
mhm.
I'm going to scroll through and see what we get. Scroll, scroll, scroll. Oh, no, we didn't land on a channel member. Okay. All right. So we're going to
All
skip that
right.
one. So again, if you guys have not joined us, please consider doing that. Hit the subscribe. I'm sorry, the join button next to the subscribe button and join us and be a part of the inner circle. We appreciate the support. Okay. So the next category, let's spin for the next one. Ooh, wow. This wheel has been generous tonight. Okay.
Oof.
The it factor. Okay, so the it factor to me, and just to explain this to you guys that are newer to the channel, we got a couple new folks here. The it factor is the overall entertainment of the film. How enjoyable is it as a film? Um, what's the rewatchability of it as a film? Those types of things. For me, this film, again, I've watched this film so many times, and I don't get tired of it. It's got so many great aspects. It's such a wonderfully made film, even though it's low budget and, just kind of, ear to the ground type of stuff. But I think Wes, to his credit, like most great filmmakers, he's able to do so much with so little. So this is a very entertaining film. I'm going to go with a 4.5. All right. Julie, how about you? What do you think about the it factor for Elm Street 84, and what's the score you want to give it?
It's gotta be. I either want to give it a 4.5 or a 5 because it's like even the pacing, dude, is like with it, and it's always exciting on every
Hmm.
rewatch. It
Hmm.
looks great. It gives me this like happy feeling. Oh, that's like a personal feeling, but
Yeah.
um, it's just a classic, dude. Yeah, I'll do 4.5. Yeah,
Okay.
but
All right. I'm
it's
gonna go
got
with a.
the it. It's got the it.
It really does, man. I mean, there's a reason that this film just totally exploded in the horror genre. I mean, like, and it, it's hard for people who maybe aren't big fans of the franchise, or maybe if they weren't around at that time, or maybe if not they're not very familiar with the film and its history. But man, you couldn't escape Elm Street. Like, it was all over the place, and this film is what really launched it, being such a well-made film, and also getting the acclaim not just from the hardcore fans but even from the critics. So
I wish
okay,
I'd been around.
yeah, you would have had some fun. You would have had some fun, I tell you. Some good movies back then, and this was one of the best. Scott is going with a 4.5 for the
Okay.
it factor. Okay. Let's see. Rachel saying It Factor is high for me. Most of you know I'm not the biggest 80s horror girly, but this film is a huge exception. I could rewatch it any day.
Hey.
A 5 out of 5. Okay. Super Tanner coming in with a 4.5. Blazin coming in with a 5. Okay, let's see. Ryan's in the house. What's going on, Ryan? Iconic going with a 4.5. One of my favorite horror movies. Very cool.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Pierre saying I'd go with a 5 since
Mm.
the It Factor made it an instant classic. Well said. Well said. Let's see. Who else? Um, and thanks, Russell. Let's see. And Ben, a fan of it as well. Okay. It does have a fantastic amount of entertainment to it. It really does. Chuck is also going with a 5. Okay. Very, very cool. Okay. Let's spin the wheel and see what we get next.
Oh, did you want me to scroll for
Oh,
a,
yes.
a
Yes. Can you
person?
scroll?
Sure.
That'd be great.
All right, let's see. Real quick. Brandon.
Okay. Is Brandon is back with us? Oh, Brandon's not. Oh, man. We hope that you join us again, man. Oh, that's a bummer.
Oh, shoot. Sorry. Yeah.
That's okay.
Oh,
No, it's whoever you pick.
okay.
Whoever you
Okay.
pick.
Dang. All right.
But we hope you join us again, Brandon. That would
Mm-hmm.
be awesome. Okay. So we're going to be talking about Final Girl. Obviously, we're talking about Nancy. So, Julie, we'll have you start this off. What are your thoughts on Nancy, and what's the score that you
All
want to
right.
give her?
She when I was rewatching this last night, I was laughing a little bit. I absolutely love Heather and
Mm-hmm.
Nancy as a character. Some of her acting, and I don't know if it's just me, but some of her acting made me giggle a little bit. Like like the hallway scene when she, where's your pass? And she's like,
Yeah.
screw your pass. And there's a few other scenes that made me laugh, but I absolutely love her. Like honestly, that just makes her performance so much better because then I think to the remake with Rooney Mara and
Mm-hmm.
how she
Mm-hmm.
played it very deadpan, straight,
Withdrawn.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then so then seeing Heather, it's like, oh my God, this girl is like she's fun, funny, cute, tough. Oh my
Yeah.
God. So nobody wants to believe her. Like I said earlier, she's like, there's
Mm-hmm.
a man, crazy ass dude. I'm next. Oh, literally, all my friends have died. Okay,
Yeah.
one by one. He's coming for me. And her policeman dad is like, maybe just take a nap. She's like, she does like the Thanos meme. She's like, fine, I'll do it myself.
There you go. That was good.
And she, oh my God, the stuff she has to do.
Yeah.
Oh, it's badass. And like she sets the traps. She's
Mm-hmm.
mentally and physically on her own. Oh my God. She like halfway through the movie, she's like, I think it's when she pulls out the hat and she's like,
Mm-hmm.
I'm just gonna go get him. Like
Yeah.
nobody believes me. I'm just gonna go get this dude. And that's
Yep.
it.
Mm-hmm.
Slap him with the Uno reverse. And oh my God. So she's a 5. She's a 5 because
All
she's
right.
fun, funny. She's crazy cool. Love her. Yeah.
She is. Well, for me, and I've said this a few times, we've had conversations about, Final Girls, especially the iconic OG type Final Girls. And I've said this before, but I feel like, there are times when Nancy is just so underrated, you know.
Mm-hmm.
But I think when and everyone knows, I mean, I love Sydney, obviously, and I love Lori, and so many others. But when you put them all side by side, Nancy is really, really good. And for a lot of the things that you said, I echo. She's tough, she's resilient, she's smart. She figures it out, right? I mean, her courage. I mean, here's the thing. If you are getting attacked by someone physically, like a Michael Myers or a Ghostface or a Jason, Okay, that's one thing, right? I mean, it's scary as hell, right? No doubt about that. But it's a physical situation. Like, in most cases, there are physical things that you can do to help yourself. Freddy is in your dreams. It's a supernatural thing, right?
Mhm.
So all bets are off. When you're asleep, you don't know what can happen. And she even understood that, but still chose to go in and get him, so to speak, right?
Mhm.
And it's like, man, to me, that's almost an extra level of courage. She's not kicking him and he's falling over like a certain a certain icon that got a low score in the tier last night, flipping around, falling around. But well, until she brings him out into the real world, that's a different story. But you get what I'm saying. Like, I think there's a new level of courage that she's showing. And another thing too that you brought up that I don't think I ever really put it together like you said it. But near the end of the film, all of her friends have died.
Mhm.
The crew is gone one by one. They're being picked off like dominoes, and she still can't get any help. Like, can you help a
No.
sister out? You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Her best friend, you got Rod, and her boyfriend, and just get some sleep, honey.
And she doesn't even get, like, a 24-hour police protection from her dad.
Right,
It's
right,
like her
right.
whole friend group got aced out. She's
Yes,
next. Oh my
yes,
goodness.
no doubt at all, man. So look, I'm ranting and rambling, but I'm doing it for a reason because I think that Heather Langenkamp did a fantastic job. The sweetness, she just felt real, and I know, like you were saying, her performance, it's interesting when you hear it because sometimes it's like, wow, but I think it was just so genuine, and which is one of the reasons
Yeah.
why she got the part. So she's got to be a 5. She's got to be a 5. That's,
Mhm.
I'm not even, I don't even have to think twice. I don't have to think twice. She's a 5. Okay. In the chat, let's take a look in the chat and catch up with these guys. Chuck is saying a final girl is a 5. Ryan saying it's a 5 for me. We've got Kate in the chat. Welcome to the chat, Kate.
Hey,
Hope
Kate.
you're enjoying the conversation. Good to have you here. Saying it really inspired so many dream horror movies at the time. Don't panic is a trip. That's a great point. There were a lot of knockoffs and movies inspired by this film, and not even just dream horror. If you're talking about villains that talked and did the quips, whether it's Chucky,
Mm.
Leprechaun, they even had. I don't want to rant, but they even had Pinhead try to start throwing a couple of cracks out, and
Ew.
it was because of the popularity that Freddy had. Of course, with Hellraiser, you don't do that with Pinhead. That was like the wrongest move of all time. But
At least
anyways,
Jason and Michael held the line. They
Yes,
they
yes,
didn't give in.
yes, they held you know what? You always come up with some good ones. You're right. Michael and my boy Jason said, "No, we will continue to do what we do." You know, Speaking of which, just because you got me again, you were cracking me up last night, you got me again tonight. Let's just have a moment to respect the other two of the horror trinity with a moment that makes you just want to be happy. And here it is.
Heavy. We. Now listen. We.
Yeah, imagine
There.
if he had talked during that water slide scene, like, hits his head on a rock. Ooh.
Yes. Oh my god. But you're right, man. Michael and Jason held the line. All right. So look, we
Until
let
Rob
me
Zombie.
oh, you're right. Oh my god. Rob Zombie is like, we're not holding the
He
line
said
anymore.
he said, "What line?"
You're right. You can't make Michael talk. My god. All right, that's a whole nother story. I could go all night about that. All right, so I'm gonna scroll here and let's see if we get anyone. Let's see. For Nancy, hey, it went wow, and that's so funny because it scrolled all the way down. We got Neil in the house who also
Ooh.
has a channel member anniversary. 16 months, man. Thank you so much. You know, we love you and appreciate you, brother. So glad to have you here tonight as well. And he's saying, I agree, Knight. Pinhead cracking jokes was just too
You
much.
didn't like that one, Neil?
It was. It's like, what are you doing? Bro, you're from hell. Why do you have a sense of humor?
Gotta keep with the trends, man.
That's right. That's right. That's right. So Neil, just real quick, 1 to 5, 5 being the best, what would you give Nancy as a final girl? If you'd like to let us know what your score is. So let us know what you think. And while we wait for him, Kate coming in saying unpopular opinion, the remake wasn't bad. The acting really elevated it. Well, Kate, it's interesting you said that because our last episode in this series was the remake with my good friend Lee from Drum Dums. It was a fantastic episode. And all I can say without giving it away, because I'd love to have you watch it if you didn't, I think you should watch it because I think you're gonna enjoy it. You're gonna enjoy it. Let's see
I
who
don't find it
else.
bad either. I find it a missed opportunity.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
Missed
They could
opportunity
have
is a
done
good way to
something
word it.
really cool. But
Yeah,
anyway.
I agree. It had everything set up, but it just couldn't stick the landing, man. All right, Neil is saying definitely a 5.
Neil
Okay.
knows how it is. Yeah, you
Yeah.
don't give Nancy any less than a 5.
That's right. Let's see. We got Nord with Novelty, who was gifted a membership. Thanking Rachel. Thank you so much.
Wow.
Rachel is so generous. And welcome to the inner circle. We appreciate the support. We hope that you choose to stay with us. We have a lot of cool exclusive streams, some fun watch parties. We just had 2 weeks in a row where we did some amazing members
Yeah,
watch parties. Oh my God. And they're still up and available for members, so you can check those out. And I also communicate with you guys multiple times a week just to have good communication and also building new relationships and friendships. So, welcome. Okay, very, very cool. And Rachel also saying you're welcome to Nord. Awesome. Okay, so our next category, let's spin the wheel and see what we get. Oh, 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 oh boy. Oh boy, that was close. That was close. Okay, atmosphere. I'll start this one off. The atmosphere of this film is so good. It just really is. What I like about the atmosphere is that, and this is one thing that I really took notice of watching it for the whatever 100th time since I was a little kid. Wes had even the little things in this film. Like, for instance, when Tina goes outside to investigate, obviously we know it's Freddy, Tina, all that. Like, you could even hear like crickets, I had a feeling I was outside with Tina. You know what I'm saying? And
Mhm.
it was little things like that that I started to notice in this film that really elevated the atmosphere of it. Like, I felt like I was in this town with these kids. I felt like I was experiencing what they were going through, when Nancy goes in to find, Freddie and has Rod, saying, just wake me up, blah, blah, blah. And she's walking down the street. It just felt real. Maybe it was the way it was shot, the sound design, obviously, the choices that Wes had. But the atmosphere, I think, in this film is so damn good. I've got to give it a 4.5. It was fantastic for me. Julie, what do you think?
Yeah, I'd agree with that. And I love how you can't, most of the time, you really can't tell if it's a dream or reality. And it just kind of, it really does mimic how your own dreams might work, where you
Yes.
go down a staircase and you're all of a sudden somewhere where you shouldn't be. You're in
Hmm.
a completely different place, like she's in. But yeah, I would say a 4.5. Yeah, it's the only thing I will say, the only thing that I picked up on last
Hmm.
night that I was like, "Oh, wait a minute," was and this could be that they just hadn't, did they say the location in this movie? Because I know typically it's, isn't it Springfield, Ohio?
Yeah, it's Ohio. Yep, yep.
Okay.
I don't think they actually did say the
Because
location.
there are California dreaming palm trees everywhere in this movie. So
They're pulling a Halloween 78 on us.
yeah, but it's Halloween, it's like blink and you miss it. Here it's like the scene when Nancy and Glenn are on the bridge, there's a big beautiful palm in the cemetery,
Yeah.
like behind John Saxon, there's a whole skyline of palm trees. But anyway,
Yeah.
sorry, I was just curious if you remembered if
Yeah.
they mentioned that it's
I
in
don't
Ohio in the original, or if
I
that's something they added later on.
Yeah, I don't think they actually said where they were, and you guys in the
Okay.
chat, let us know if they did, but I don't recall seeing any time when they
Yeah.
actually said, yeah, that's an interesting one.
So anyway, if that's the case, I wasn't gonna take points off for that anyway, but it was just a funny thing that I was like, wait a minute. But yeah, I do a 4.5. Yeah, it's great.
Okay. All right.
Mhm.
Okay. Let's see what we got going on in the chat. Scott's going with a 5 for atmosphere. Anton is going with a 5. Okay. Rachel saying another 5 out of 5 for me. Atmosphere in this film is amazing. Freddy's presence just hangs over the whole film, and it's amazing, like a shadow that you cannot escape. All right, well said. And Nord coming in saying, "This is my first live. That's awesome. But I'm a big fan of the channel." Well, thank you. That is
All
awesome to
right.
hear too. We appreciate that. And thank you for the support. It's great to have you here live with us and talking and kind of getting a chance to know folks in the community. I think to me, and I was saying this last night. I think that is to me that's a special thing because a lot of channels can do content. And obviously, I do content like that where I upload, but getting a chance to talk with you guys and hanging out, I think is really cool because, we can have discussions, we can have fun, we can have laughs, we can distract each other from tough times like we were talking about earlier. So, welcome, welcome. Okay. Um, and who else? We got Quentin coming in with a super
All
chat,
right.
$5 super chat, going with 5. All right.
Great.
I love it. Giving us a 5. Awesome. Man, thank you so much for the super chat, first of all. That really helps us support the channel, keeps the lights on, and allows us to do more of these types of streams, where we really want to make this a series, an event that we keep a schedule to and so forth. Even having guests on the channel that make time out of their day, like Julie and so many others. So we appreciate that. Let's do a super chat clip and have a little fun. And just
Uh-oh.
thinking, I was gonna go in a certain direction because you're here, Julie, but that might almost be too easy to guess. So let's do this for a super chat clip. Sometimes, Julie, the people that you think are the toughest of all time sometimes show a tender side, and it might look like this.
And Jack and Inidaki, yay, booyah.
This is damage to the front end of your car, which hit his car in the rear.
I I can't handle that Judge Judy clip.
Oh, oh Lord. Oh, that's a good one. Oh man. All right. Woo. Hey, look, Neil. Yeah, I love Neil. He said, "Hey, now you have to look really hard to see a palm tree in Halloween
It's
'78." That's true.
true.
That is
It's
true.
true. But I got those
Yeah,
eagle eyes.
that's right. Oh man. Okay. All right. Let's see. How about this? Let's scroll through.
Okay.
Julie, if you could scroll through, and whoever you land on, we're gonna take their score. If they're not a channel member, obviously we're not gonna take their score.
All right.
And this will be for atmosphere.
Russ.
Oh, okay. Russell, right?
Russell, yeah. Parts
Okay.
unknown.
Russell, if you would like to put your score down for the atmosphere of Nightmare 84, let us know and
I
we
hope
will
he's
add
still
it.
here. I scrolled up
Yeah.
kind of far. I hope he's still here.
Yeah, he might be. He might be. Well, we'll wait to see if he answers that. And while we're doing that, we're going to go to our next category. And you'll be leading this one off, Julie. Let's see what we get. Oh boy. Okay. Oh, all right. Cinematography. Okay, so cinematography, obviously we're talking about how the film, the camera work, how it looks, how it's developed throughout the film. What do you think about the cinematography of 84 and what's the score you want to give it?
Mm, hard to not give all almost perfect scores here.
Hmm. True.
um, I think it's. I would. I would probably do a 4.5 or a 5 because it's like I was saying, the seamless dream transitions,
Hmm.
fantastic. It looks great. It looks um it looks like an 80s movie, but in the best way possible.
Hmm.
Um yeah, I uh, there was one scene where I was like, okay, so the hallway scene in the hall
Yep.
pass girl, and then there's
Hmm.
this still shot of her when she pulls out the Freddy glove, and she's
Yeah.
got like this blur effect all behind her, and it looked a little wonky. That's like the one thing that I was like, why does this look like
Hmm.
a fake scene? Like somebody added it. I don't know how to explain it.
No, I know
I,
what you mean. That's a
I'm
good point.
nitpicking. It's like the one
Yeah.
scene that looks so out of place. I'm like, not even scene, sorry, the one literally like shot frame.
Hmm.
It looks
Hmm.
out of place in the rest of the movie. That's it though. Other than that, like, dude, like, oh, the scene when she's in the bathtub, right? And she's being drowned and you see the
Yeah.
little, love that scene.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. That's a good one.
probably, well, yeah, I'll do a 4.5. Sorry.
Okay. All right. No, no problem at all. It's tough. It's tough, man. I think, for me, it's shot really well. There's great um there's great movement of the camera. Again, going to the Tina confrontation, I think that looks
Oh, yeah.
just so good the way that the camera is like making you feel so immersed into what's going on. Um, yeah, like that hallway scene, there's a little bit of wonkiness there. Of course, at the end with the stinger and the blow up doll, it's kind of like, okay, we know what's going on. It's funny because I don't have as big of a problem with that as some folks I know, like my good buddy Eric. I remember I did a video on that talking about does that really downgrade the film in general, at least from it being considered perfect, right? Um,
Mhm.
and it's funny because as a kid, and even I mean, today, obviously, I'm a little bit more critical in a way, but even as a kid, I knew it was fake. But because we're dealing with this whole idea of dreams, it never really stuck out as, oh, that sucks, right? Um,
Yeah, yeah. I was gonna say
yeah,
it almost makes it it
creepier.
creepier because it's so like weird and uncanny, and it's just like,
Yeah.
what? And then it almost like it really does seem like Wes did it on purpose because
Mm.
then you're like, well, wait, what the hell is real? And it was just, I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm kind of like weirdly a fan of the blow up doll. I
Yeah,
don't know.
I don't have a big issue with it. But that being said, I think again the camera work is pretty good. Rod's jail kill, the way that was shot, it was okay. I have a few issues with that. Again, this is 1984, man. They
Yeah.
had like $3 to make this film, and they did a hell of a job. But I'd go with a 4 for cinematography. I think it was beautiful. Just a couple of and again, it's nitpicking, guys.
Mhm.
It's absolutely nitpicking. If you ask me this later on tonight or tomorrow, I might go 4.5, but I think it's really, really well done. So I'm going to go with a 4. Okay. Let's see what we got in the chat. Paul is going with a 5. Blazing going with a 5. Chuck's going with a 4.5. Anton is going with a 4. Brandon's going with a 4.5. Okay, and we got Ben coming in with a $5 super chat. Thank you, Ben. Thank you, thank you. We appreciate that. Saying just because I love you guys. Oh, thank you so much.
Aw.
You guys, you guys are too kind, man. Seriously, we appreciate it, and also, And I started to allude to this earlier, but a shout out to our good friend Troy as well. Last night, right as we were ending the live stream, it's so funny because it's almost like a little bit of an ongoing joke, especially when we do Battle World. Sometimes when he sends in the chat, it'll be right after the buzzer, and I had
Oh yeah.
just ended the stream, and he had sent in a $50 super chat. It's like, oh
Oh,
my god, man! But much love to you, Troy, and all of you guys that are able to help support us this way. It's very generous and kind, and we couldn't be more appreciative of it. But let's do this for Ben, also for Troy too. Let's do another super chat clip. And uh, sometimes, Julie, when you when you think that you're able to watch without being watched back, things may happen, and it might look like this.
You tried to play the game, but it's driving you insane. Jumanji, danger in the jungle. Jumanji, there's a lion in my house. Come on, man.
Oh,
Motherfucker.
what?
Motherfucker.
hey, all you kids, don't be filming people who are crashing out, destroying somebody's
That's
car.
right. You never know what could happen. Thank you so much, Ben. We appreciate you, and also shout out to our good friend Troy. Good old Troy. All right, so let's do this. I'll scroll through the chat. Let's see if we get any of the channel members, and maybe
Okay.
we can. Let's see. Oh my God, I hit you. That doesn't count.
Hey.
All right, let me scroll one more time. I don't want to take up too much time, but all right. So I'm scrolling through. Boom. I went on Brandon again. Oh no, I'm sorry, bro. Ah,
Oh, dang
sorry,
it.
man. All right, so let's let's spin the wheel and see what we get. All right, all right. Oh, okay, a talking point. Man. Okay. This is going to be interesting. Okay, so Julie, what is to you, what's the worst scene or moment or what have you that you're not a big fan of? It may not be that it's horrible, but just in context of the film that you're just like, man, I don't know if I was down with that.
Okay, it's I was just defending the blow up doll, but it's not that, it's that whole scene. I don't like the final scene of the movie. I've never liked it.
Okay.
I was always really confused by it. I was like, wait, so she won or
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, it just it feels off. It feels so different from the rest of the movie to me.
Hmm.
I get that it's supposed to be weird and out, but yeah, that's and it's not even a bad scene. It's just it's
Mhm.
definitely the most out of place and my least favorite. I just get kind of like, oh, okay, that's the ending
Okay.
every time I
right.
see it.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, I mean it's a little weird. I mean, they were trying to, blur that line between reality and obviously the dream world or what have you. I think it was poetic, but I can see how it's not a favorite. It's not my favorite point of the film, but I was fine with it. But I think for me, I wasn't really a big fan of Rod's death.
Yeah.
I feel like there was some creepiness to it, like when Freddy walks in the cell. I thought that was very creepy the way it looks, but then it's the sheet, and I don't know, it's not that it's bad, right? But when I'm just looking at the whole film, that's one of those moments that never really a huge thing for me. Because the other thing too, and I know and I know it's powers, right? So why try to make sense of it? But as he's being wrapped up, in the sheet, and the sheet is going up, out of the cell, I always thought to myself, what is it hanging on to? you know, You know what I'm saying? Like, what is it being leveraged on? Is Freddy just like pulling up, just keep pulling up, and then he obviously hangs Rod. And I
Pulling
know
it through a crack in the wall.
yeah, yeah, yeah. And I know it's just powers, so this doesn't matter. But I'm just saying, when I look at it, I'm just like, So that scene was never a huge scene to me, you know.
Yeah,
All
yeah,
right.
that's fair. It's kind of like a little bit, anyway.
Yeah. It's kind of like meh, you know what I'm
Yeah,
saying? Yeah, yeah.
compared to what happens to other people, it's like, yeah.
Exactly. Exactly. Because Glenn's death is
Yeah.
so awesome. Tina's is still one of the best of all
Yeah,
time.
both like
And
huge spectacle scenes, and then
yeah, yeah, it
Rod,
felt
it's
like
like, well, he's out of here.
yeah, yeah, yeah. It felt like it was just kind of an afterthought of sorts. And again, I get it. They didn't have a lot of money that they were working with, and this was all. I mean, Wes worked so hard to get this movie done. He shopped it around for a couple years, and New Line was the only place, and Bob Shea, the only people that really believed that this could be a great film. Which even on paper, it's great. It's amazing. You look at it on paper, dreams, right? Nightmares.
Mhm.
Um, so I don't hold it against them too much, because I think overall the film just is so amazing on all levels. So even with Rod's death not being as fantastical and a spectacle like you said, I can still deal with it. So all right.
And it kinda makes perfect sense, right? I mean, that's the only way he could have done that too. It's the only way he could have gotten rid of himself in that setting, right? So
Yeah, that's true
Mhm.
too. Yeah, that's a good point. Okay. All right. In the chat, just to catch up with these guys a little bit, we got Bloodline in the chat saying, "Hi, I'm from Gallup, New Mexico." Hey, well, welcome.
Alright,
Glad
welcome.
glad to have you here in the chat. Hope you're enjoying the conversation. Saying, I'm a fan of horror movies. Well, you are in the right place. You're absolutely in the right place. Dead Central in the house. What's going on, man? Good to have you here again. We've got Show Out in the chat saying, I think they set the bar too high with Freddy versus Jason. Ooh, big fan of Freddy versus Jason. We did do
Mhm.
Freddy versus Jason in our series, so definitely check out our playlist for the Great Debate series. We've done tonight is our final film in the Elm Street franchise, and next we're going to actually tally up all the scores of each film, and then we're going to be able to rank the franchise based on the scores. But check out our playlist, because we had a great episode with Freddy versus Jason. Let's see. Who else? Rachel saying the worst scene is absolutely blow up mommy getting pulled through the front door. Yes.
I get it, but yeah, I feel like I talked myself into being a defender of that.
Well, hey, it's okay. It's okay. Let's see. Neil said, yeah, the blow up doll is bad, like Skinamarink bad.
Come on.
It's not that bad, is it? Brandon saying Rod's death scene didn't do much for me personally. I
Yeah.
agree. I agree. Absolutely. And Paula is agreeing with that as well. Okay. Very cool. All right, let's go to our next category, and this will be one that we will score unless it comes up on best scene. So let's see what we get. Oh yeah! Wow. Okay. Wow. Now, I'm going to be starting this one off. We're talking about the kills. Okay, so we're talking about the kills themselves. Now, so you guys, I just told you about the scene I had an issue with, right? So that has to go into my score, right? I have to, add it all together. So you've got Tina's death, which I think is fantastic, and it has stood the test of time. We talked about, just to tease it a little bit, when we talked about the remake, we were talking about how that one just didn't, at least for me, and I think Lee agreed with it as well, it didn't live up to this one. And a big part of that was this one is just so visceral, right? And the buildup that Wes had with this kill, She wakes up, she goes outside to investigate. He strings out that tension. So by the time that Freddy is attacking her and ultimately killing her, I'm so invested in Tina. You know what I'm saying? Um, and Rod is horrified at what he's seeing. It's a horrifying situation. Who's under the covers? You can't see anyone else but your girlfriend, but somehow she's getting slashed. Wow. So that's awesome. Johnny Depp's kill, I think was great. It's iconic, and it was also born out of an era, because they used the rotating room again, the one they had used for Tina's death, and when they had all of those gallons of blood, it took off the balance of the rotation. So that's why when you see the blood coming up, it looks weird and skewed because the blood was going from one side of the room to another as it was rotating. It's crazy.
Oh, I
I
didn't
think,
know that. That's cool.
yeah, yeah. So, and I think it makes it look even more supernatural and weird, so that was
Mhm.
like a happy accident. But then we talk about Rod's death. And again, I'm just not as big on Rod's death. I'm just not. I mean, again, not that it's horrible, but it just was kind of like, and I know it's the point of the story. Nancy was going there, and wanted to obviously check on him, and it was like she missed him by like a split second. As soon as he's dead, they go into the cell room, and
Yeah,
it's
that
like,
guy hadn't argued with her. Oh.
yeah. Once again, nobody wants to listen to Nancy. It's like, what the hell? But all that being said, I know I'm rambling, but when I take all of those deaths into account, I have to go with a 4. I'm going to go with a 4. I'm tempted to go 3.5, but I'm going to go with a 4 because Tina's is just so good. So, Julie, what do you think?
Yeah, I was actually gonna do a 4 too because the we've got like 2 really standout deaths, Glenn and
Hmm.
Tina, and then Rod's is, we discussed that. And
Hmm.
that's really it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Besides
Well, I mean, we
the
got
bubble.
Marge's,
Yeah.
we got Marge's death, but I mean, you know, shit, man. Now that I'm thinking about it, the whole idea, and that's like you said about the ending. You know, was it real? Was it not? It is kind of left up. I mean, obviously, the later sequels tell us, but we're just
Yeah.
going off of this movie alone, without everything that came after it. Her sinking into the bed was kind of like, I did the shot of Freddy on top of her on fire. That was horrific. You know what I mean? So that
Mhm.
really doesn't change my score either way. Same thing with being pulled through the door. Was she killed or not? It's weird, but it is what it is. So I'm sticking with the 4.
Yeah, me too. No, yeah, me too, me too.
Yeah.
Can't take away from like the epicness of the rotating room. So,
Yes.
yeah.
Yeah. Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's see what these guys are saying in the chat. Blazin is saying a 5. Tina being dragged along the wall is iconic. It is. It is. Rachel saying Tina's death is one of the most memorable death scenes in horror history, but I agree that Rod's death is a little underwhelming. Glenn's is great though, and deserved. Wow.
Dang.
Wow. Ra-
She's
Rach,
like, get Glenn up out of
Ra-
here.
Rach, Rachel's like, you are the weakest link. Bye. Um, so Rachel's going
Rachel, what
with
about
a
his
4.
crop top? That didn't win you over?
Right? And they paid homage to it in Scream.
Oh
So
yeah, yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
that's true. All right. Brandon going with a 4.5. The kills are outstanding. Glenn, Tina, and even Marge's first kill in the bed. It was Rod's kill that was lackluster. Well
Yeah.
said. Well said. I agree with that. Let's see. Pierre is going with a 4. Okay. All right. Well, Julie, if you could scroll
Okay.
through the live chat, and whoever you land on, we'll see if they would like to add their score or not.
Paula's a member, right? Yep.
Yep, she
Yep.
is.
All right,
So
Paula.
Paula,
Oh,
Paula went with a 5.
all
Wow.
right. Tipping the scale.
Wow. Okay. All right. Awesome. 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 Super Tanner going with a 4.5 as well. And Rachel saying, "Oh my God, the crop top is the biggest offense."
That's fair. It was kind of shocking to me, but
It
I was like,
was
kind of cute. I like it.
it was 1984. Come on, right? Okay, let's go to our next category. We've got 2 more categories to score. Oh man, hell yeah. Wow, the wheel has been very nice tonight. Okay. The directing, Julie, we're going to start with you, the late great horror master, uh, Wes Craven. What do you think of his job as a director, and what's the score you want to give him? He just holding up the 5
I
fingers.
feel like it's yeah, I don't even want to find anything to nitpick here. I
Yeah,
just I really like this movie, and I'm not going to disrespect Wes. And he earns
there.
the 5. He earns the 5.
Yeah, yeah,
Hmm.
yeah. All right, well said. For me, growing up and being able to enjoy, um, a lot of these films, um, and being such a big part of my horror journey, Wes was a huge part of that, his career, all the great things he's done. But speaking about this alone, like I said, he worked very hard to get this movie off the ground. And he had said it many times in his interviews and so forth. This was what put him on the map. If we didn't have this, we wouldn't have gotten Scream. If we didn't have this, we wouldn't have gotten so many other great films, probably, or maybe, that he did. So you got to give him a lot of credit for what he did, the creativity. Like, this is one of the most creative ideas in horror history. Like, it truly is. And I don't
Hmm.
say that lightly. What they were able to do with this character and this world, this mythology, it was just unbelievable. And it would have been so easy. You got to remember too, it would have been so easy at this point in 1984, to just kind of follow suit of what everyone else was doing. Everybody else was trying to reach those levels of Halloween or of Friday the 13th. And Wes had an idea that was so different. And yeah, I got to give him all the credit in the world. So for me, when I'm talking about Wesley Earl Craven, I got to give him a 5. This was such a good movie. He did such a great job with the characters, with the balance of horror and tension and suspense, storytelling. It was just great. So I got to go with a 5.
And in the face of the silent icons, he said,
Yeah,
I'm going to have a guy who
yeah,
yaps before he kills you.
yeah,
That was
yeah,
pretty brave to do, because
yeah.
that could have
I mean,
flopped really hard.
true enough. It definitely could have flopped, because again, if you're not on board with Freddy as a character, if you don't buy it, if you're not buying the whole idea of the nightmares and so forth, this movie doesn't work.
Hmm.
No matter how amazing Wes is as a director, this movie wouldn't work. But that was the crux of what this film was. So he believed in it and he went with it. So there you go. All right, let's check out the chat. I think we're gonna get some really good comments on this. Let's see. Um, Rachel said the 80s were not a good decade for fashion. There you go. Blazin saying, going with a 5. You got to give Wes his flowers on this. Okay. We've got Mai in the chat. Welcome to the chat. Hope you're enjoying the conversation. Good to see you here. Saying, I thought on first viewing that Freddy's working under the radar. Rod's death would make the most sense because it's supposed to be an accident to everyone in the real world covering his tracks. Yeah, and Julie was saying that. That's a good point. To me, I don't know, maybe they could have done a little bit more. I know that when they talked about that scene and he was talking about his performance because he was still under the influence, because he was an addict and he wasn't very happy with his performance there. So maybe that was part of it. I don't know.
Could be.
Um, but yeah, but it's still a fine scene. Okay. Rachel saying it's Wes. He's amazing. The tension, the atmosphere, the pacing, the dreamscape. So good. 5 out of 5. Okay. Brandon going with a 5. Paula going with a 5. Scott, 5 for directing well deserved. All hail Lord Wes. There you go. Neil coming in with the truth. Neil always coming in with the facts. And Wes directed some real duds in his career, but this isn't one of them. 5 out of 5. There you
I
go.
forgot that he made Skinamarink.
Well, the thing is, even things like when he did Hills Have Eyes too, Wes even said, I'm just doing this for the money, because all directors have, those movies that don't always nail it. And even the greatest, like Wes, but overall, he's still the man. Ben
Mhm.
saying kudos to the late great Wes Craven on a phenomenal job directing an unforgettable horror classic. Well said. Pierre saying really hard to not give a 5. True enough. Eric in the house, what's up, brother? Saying as much as I love what Wes did, I can't give him a 5 for keeping that doll. And
Oh,
I
come
knew Eric
on.
was gonna bring up the doll sooner or later. Oh man, Eric is always consistent. He's always expressed not loving that scene for the blow up doll. And it's fair. I get it. I get it. Yeah, Rachel saying the same thing. I get it. Blazing saying that's great. Said, dang. It's serious when Knight says the director's middle name. Wes is a 5 all the way. There you go. Bloodline saying he did a wonderful job for making movies. He did. He really, really did. Okay, Julie, if you could do a quick scroll and see if we can get another 5 in here.
All right. Ooh,
Yeah.
Ben.
Okay, Ben. And
And
Ben gave
Ben's
a
a
5.
member.
Yeah, he is. And thank you for that, brother. We appreciate that. He did give a 5. I'm pretty sure I saw that. I just want to scroll back just to make sure.
Uh,
I think it's kind of let's see. Did he? Ben, what was the score that you gave Wes for directing, Ben? Let us know. Because of course, when you scroll back, sometimes you can miss it. And when he gives that, I'll put that down officially. But guys, we have one more category to score, and we've got, well, one possibility being best scene that will not be scored if it is picked. It'll just be a talking point. But the last scored category could be the makeup, the dreamscape, or Freddy himself. Now, this could be interesting. I'm not going to say, but one of these it could change things a little bit, in my opinion, anyways. Okay, so let's spin it. Let's see what we get. Get out of here. Oh, 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 wow. All right. Now Ben did come in with a 5, so we're putting him down officially. This is very interesting. We're going to talk about Freddy's makeup. Okay, so Julie, we're going to have you start. When we think about Freddy's makeup in this film, how he looks, okay? Now, let me also just say this because especially being Elm Street 84, just like when we did Halloween 78 in the Halloween debates. I really, my whole goal for this is to give the fairest of scores. Okay. So when we're talking about Freddy in this film, we see him in shadows a lot, but there are a couple of times we see him pretty up close and good. So we're taking in all of those accounts. What do you think of his makeup? And what's the score you want to give him, Julie?
I think it's the best in the series, and I love the use of darkness and shadow on him. I
Mhm.
think it's perfect because in the later sequels, when we see him in full light, like Sunny with his sunglasses, doesn't work. Not for me, no. So,
Julie.
and I'm trying to think of the scene where you see him really well.
Well,
Like,
there's a
what
scene
scene?
like in the boiler room when Nancy's in class, where's your
Yeah,
pass? She goes into the boiler room.
I
Um
remember he cuts
he,
his chest
he
open.
cuts his chest and you could
That was
see him.
disgusting.
It was disgusting. Obviously, the scene in the alleyway when he, sees Tina and he's got the longest arms of all time,
Yeah,
which some people have issues with. It is what it is, whatever.
I
But
liked it.
then when she's running towards the house and he comes, around the corner from that tree and says, "Hey, Tina, watch this." So you see his face
Yeah.
pretty good there as well. Obviously, at the end when she turns her back on him, you can see his face up close. It's still got a lot of shadow on it, but you can see it. Um, and those are some of the most right in your face, moments where you see him.
I don't have any critique of it because like he looks disgusting. It doesn't look like a mask. It doesn't look like cheap rubbery makeup. It looks I would do like a 4.5.
Okay.
I have no critique of it, honestly. I think he looked disgusting and it was just what they needed. And great for
Okay.
the time it was made. Yeah.
It was, yeah, I do think it was great for the time it was made, no doubt about that. But here's my thought on it.
Okay.
Now, and again, guys, don't kill me. Don't kill me. This is not my favorite of the franchise. His
Oh.
makeup. It's not. It's good. It's good. But there are scenes where I think and it's just the presentation of it, you know what I mean? I don't think it's like it's not as good as Dream Warriors, in my opinion, for instance, you know. I really dig New Nightmare, although it's kind of a different take. But I think Wes was really smart, and I think I saw that in the chat too. Wes was really smart to cover him in shadow, and I think that worked so well. The scene where he confronts Tina in the alley and he says, "This is God." He looks fantastic, and you can see his face. Fantastic. The scene where he's got the arms outstretched, he looks all right, you know, but the shadow helps him. At the end, I think he looks all right. The shadow is really heavy on him. There are a couple of other scenes here and there when he cuts his chest. I think he looks okay. I don't think it's great. But I think it looks okay for what it is. You know, again, I'm nitpicking here and there, but I'm just being honest because, and I don't mind saying this, but if you haven't seen like the Dream Warriors episode, check that out. But you know, when I talked about Dream Warriors, I said, you know, I think that this is the look. When I think of Freddy, they nailed that look, and they pretty much kept that in 4 in the Dream Master. This is pretty good though, you know, but it's not my number one pick. So for me, I'm gonna go with a 4. I'm going to go with a 4. Again, nitpicking, you know, but this is a film that is amazing. So it's like, you know, I'm just trying to be fair here. What do you think of that, Julie? Do you think Julie's
Yeah.
like, shut up?
No, that's
No, I'm
fair. And
just playing.
I forgot you had said that in the
Yeah,
Dream
I mean,
Warriors episode. But now, yeah, I'm remembering you say that. But I'm gonna stand firm.
yeah,
I think he works the best when he's in the darkness. And maybe
yeah,
they were hiding his makeup on purpose. I don't know. If
right.
that's the case, that's fine because it worked for
Yeah,
me. And
yeah,
I don't like seeing him full light, full
yeah,
exposure. He
yeah,
just doesn't work for me in that way.
yeah.
So
No, I agree. I think the shadow is best for him. But when I think about the makeup itself, just the makeup alone, whether it's in shadow or pure sunlight, you know, that's kind of where I'm going with it. But I do think when he's in shadow, like for instance, I'm gonna spill the beans. I know some folks haven't seen these episodes, but like for Freddy's Revenge, so divisive of a film, but I think he looked awesome in Freddy's Revenge because you still had a lot of the shadow that we had in the OG, but you also had moments where you could see his face. You could make out his face a lot more, and I think the makeup was better in general. You know, I'm not saying, you know, but in general, I think the makeup was better. So, you know, his makeup is an interesting. That's why I was so glad to have this as part of these debates, just like we had the mask for Michael for Halloween's debates, because I think that the makeup. Yeah, I know, right? Hey, look, anytime you know what I'm thinking of. But well, let's
Nick
just show it. You know what's going on. You know. Just saying, never forget. But
we never get
anyways,
into that territory, no.
no, not at all. So I got to give them credit. They at least, even when the makeup wasn't great, I think they stayed way away from Nick Cage. But um but I agree with you. I think that the makeup works best, or he works best in shadows because I think he's scarier versus like in 4 when he's got the shades on at the beach chilling. Like, what are we doing?
So yeah, I mean, if we saw him in 84's makeup in fully lit on a beach, I might
Oof.
have to change my score, but that's, you know
Yeah,
what? They were smart and they didn't do that. So maybe
they
I'm cheating the
were.
system a little, but I'm factoring
No,
that in.
no, I think you're right. Yep, I think you're right. Neil saying all I can say is way back in '84, Freddy was absolutely terrifying. Very true. Rachel saying love Freddy's look in this. Yes, agree with Julie. He's so menacing in the shadows. She's going with a 5. Okay.
There we
Paul is
go.
saying it has to be a 5. We got
Mm.
Destin in the house. What's up, brother? Good to see you. Let's see. And yeah, great point, Rachel. Love the weight of the glove makes it so his arm hangs lower. It looks so off-putting.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah.
Robert has talked about that quite a few times. He likened it to like a gunslinger. You know what I'm saying? And there was a few good shots in this film, and a couple really good ones, like in Dream Warriors and Dream Master, where you could just see that silhouette. And Robert was very aware of what that did for the character. You know what I'm saying? Let's see. My saying I appreciate it night. Same deal with Dream Warriors having the standout kill of the kid being walked off the rooftop to appear as an accident to all watching in the
Mm,
real world.
yeah.
Yeah, that was a standout, man. That was a standout. Brandon is going 5 for the makeup. This is top tier. Scott going with a 4 for the makeup, saying that Wes kept him in the shadows as much as possible really helped, but the makeup was really, really good in the OG. Well
Yeah.
said. Well said. Okay. So let's do another scroll. Let me scroll through and see if we get any member that would like to add a score to it. It went to oh man, it went to Bloodline. Bloodline's not with us yet, but definitely think about joining us for being a channel member. It definitely helps to support the channel and doing extra things, extra perks, helping us out like this and so forth. Okay, guys. So we made it all the way through. We went through 10 categories. These were interesting categories. There were a couple left that I think would have definitely, if we're talking about Freddy himself and the Dreamscape, I think those would have been really high scores
Hmm.
universally. But the wheel didn't choose it. So this is, guys, I'm telling you, once I calculate all the scores for every film in the Elm Street franchise that we've done, I think it's going to be an interesting ranking because, yeah, it's going to be interesting. But tonight, we talked about the story, the characters, the mythology, the it factor, the final girl, the atmosphere, the cinematography, the kills, the directing, and Freddy's makeup. So we made it all the way through. Very cool. Julie, any final thoughts, either on Elm Street 84 or tonight's discussion?
Yeah, I love this movie. Watching it again last night, I hadn't seen it in a while, and now I
Yeah.
want to go watch it again, like right now.
That's awesome.
Just I think my favorite category was talking about Nancy, though. That was
Yeah,
so much fun. The garbage she went through.
she
Oh
did.
my God.
Yeah, and
Ugh.
you made a hell of a point. And like I said, I've never really thought specifically about it like that, that all of her friends had died. So she's the last one, and yet she still wasn't getting that support that she needed. So she truly was on her own. Her mother was drunk, and the late great John Saxon as her father was just like, "Hey honey, just get some sleep. That's what I've been telling you. Get some sleep. I'll be there." Like, "No, you're not, dude. You're about to go to Pizza Hut and get some food." It's like, you know.
I
So
forgot how badly he failed her. It's like, come on,
he
man. Oh.
did, and then in Dream Warriors, it was almost even worse because, like, you would think, and of course, we're not talking about, obviously tonight we weren't talking about Dream Warriors, but just talking about the character arc that he had itself, just rambling a little bit. Like, you would think after what he went through in this film, and especially Marge dying, that he would have, if nothing else, been more supportive as a father to Nancy. But no, instead he became more uh uh off-putting to her, and separated from her, and becoming a drunk and so forth. And it was like, I mean, obviously at the end, he made a big help to them with the bones of Freddy, but It's like, man, John Saxon was an ass as a father, man. It's
He
like,
came
wow.
through in the end, but yeah, it's
Yeah.
like, dude,
Kept telling
did
you,
nothing last time.
you have failed us.
But yeah, this movie's so fun, and there's some really cute moments and fun moments, and like what's that? Oh yeah, something that made me giggle this time was when Nancy's in the bath and her mom knocks on the door a few times, and she's like, "I got you some warm milk,"
Warm milk.
and Nancy's like, "Warm milk."
Yeah.
I was
Yeah.
like, "Jeez," she's
Yeah.
like super rude to her mom, but I
Yeah.
do get it. Her mom's got a bit of a problem, but
Yeah. Yeah.
but
Well,
anyway,
it was cute.
it's just very cute moments. Yeah, this was so much fun to talk about. Feel like, yeah, like I said, I want to go rewatch it again. It's just such a fun
Nice.
movie. Yeah.
Awesome. Well, I'm glad that you enjoyed it. And for you guys that were here, we appreciate the support. It really helps us, when we take the time to do these live streams. If you haven't hit the like button, please do. And also leave us some comments. We couldn't get to everyone's comment. That's absolutely impossible to do. But leave us some comments. Let us know what you think about Elm Street 84, what you think about these categories, maybe some of the scores. That you had as well. That'd be great. We can continue the conversation. And Ben saying tough love, the Don Thompson story. Yeah, that's awesome. Oh
It's
my God.
true. Just
That
take a
is
nap.
great. Just take a nap. I'll be there, babe. Like he heads off to Pizza Hut. Tough love. That was good, man. Good for you, buddy. All right. So listen, guys, we appreciate you guys being here. We're going to be back next week doing some really fun things. And at some point, I'm going to be scheduling our ranking of the Elm Street franchise based upon the scores that we've made in each of these streams for the series of the Great Debates. So keep an eye out for that. It's going to be a lot of fun. I'm hopefully going to have a lot of our panel guests that were with us in each film join us or maybe stop by. So it'll be a really fun community event, just like we did with the Halloween franchise ranking. So keep an eye out on that, and we will catch you guys next time. As always, if you're watching this, if you're listening to this, you are the Night Watch. Peace.